We encounter situations every day that try our patience and make us feel anxious. These little battles seem to be part of life, whether it's a coworker's annoying habits, a traffic jam when you're already late, or your phone dying in the middle of an important call. Nevertheless, how we handle these small annoyances affects not only how our days go, but also how long we live. Today, we will delve deeply into the age-old wisdom of Stoicism, a philosophy that teaches us how to live these moments to the fullest rather than just get by. We can use the tools Stoicism gives us to turn everyday setbacks into chances for inner peace and personal development. At the conclusion of this video, you will not only comprehend why these ideas have shaped some of the brightest minds on the planet for centuries, but you will also possess useful tactics that you can put into practice right now to begin leading a more resilient and satisfying life. Together, let's explore how the cool logic of Stoicism can help us manage our emotions, develop serenity, and undergo significant personal transformation. To ensure you receive all of the life-changing insights we're going to cover, make sure you watch the entire video. Let's go ahead and begin. Lesson 1. Understanding anger as natural. Everyone gets angry at times. It's a natural emotion, and this is where Stoicism's profound wisdom comes in. We can always choose how we react to things, even though we can't always control what happens to us, according to Stoicism. In order to change the way we relate to anger, this is crucial. Consider this. Our natural reaction may be to become enraged when something goes wrong or someone annoys us. What if, however, we took a moment to think about this response? Stoicism urges us to use these times as a chance to put qualities like endurance, compassion, and patience into practice. We create the groundwork for better anger management skills by accepting that anger is a normal emotion. Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius, two prominent Stoic philosophers, often talked about the idea of concentrating on our internal reactions rather than letting outside events affect us. They held that rather than the events themselves, our feelings, including anger, are a result of our assessments of them. Therefore, we tend to feel angry when we attach a certain value or judgment to what has transpired. This realization gives us a tremendous opportunity. When we sense our anger building, we should ask ourselves, what conclusions am I drawing from this? Exists another perspective on it? It's not about denying or repressing your anger here. It's about realizing that. We can begin to modify our reactions by identifying the underlying cause of our rage. Consider taking this as an opportunity to investigate why you react the way you do. For example, if you get stuck in traffic and you feel angry. Does the other driver's behavior truly bother you, or do you think your path should be clear of obstacles? Recognizing our anger also makes it easier for us to sympathize with people who may experience emotional difficulties. This empathy can strengthen our bonds and enhance our communication. As we traverse the complexity of human emotions, it's about having compassion, both for ourselves and for others. Stoic philosophy revolves around this concept, which, when fully understood, is immensely liberating. Contemplate it. No matter how much we might want to, we are unable to alter the circumstances or people that cause us so much frustration and rage. Similar to the sage Marcus Aurelius, the Stoics taught that true power comes from knowing the difference between what we can control and what we cannot. You are in charge of your decisions, thoughts, and deeds. That is all. You essentially have no control over anything else. The weather, other people's behavior, the past, and a large portion of the future. But things get interesting from this point on. We reclaim a great deal of power when we concentrate on our own responses and attitudes. we direct our energy towards the things we can truly control, rather than squandering it on the unpredictable. Come on, let's get real. For example, let's say that nobody is contributing to the group project you're working on. Sure, it's simple to become irritated. You may even sense your anger building. However, you should consider what aspect of this circumstance I can truly control. Although you are powerless to force your teammate to work harder, you do have power over how you handle the situation. It could be a discussion about what is expected of you, or it could be redistributing work among the group members. In addition to lowering your personal stress level, this kind of focus shifting allows you to see more positive approaches to solving the issue. Recognizing that there are some things we can't control is another facet of the Stoic philosophy. Resignation is not implied by this acceptance. It entails realizing our true power base. The idea is to maintain your mental tranquility despite outside circumstances. Consider this. Can I control the traffic? Perhaps you're frustrated about being late because you're stuck in traffic. Nope. However, what am I in control of? How you responded. You could use the time to reflect on your day or listen to an audiobook or some soothing music. The benefit of keeping your attention on the things you can control is that it progressively strengthens and fortifies your mentality. As you become more aware of your obligations and liabilities, you'll find that life's ups and downs gradually lessen their impact on you. The goal here is to focus your energies more wisely, rather than to repress your emotions. Third lesson, train your mindfulness. This involves not being unduly affected or overwhelmed by what is happening around us, but rather being totally present in the moment, conscious of our location and actions. Stoic teachings, which place a strong emphasis on awareness of our thoughts and deeds, as well as exercising control over how we respond to the outside world, are well aligned with this. So, why engage in mindful practice? Because it is beneficial for us to take a break between our experiences and our responses to them. We can choose responses that are in line with our values and objectives by practicing mindfulness, rather than letting our emotions rule our decisions. This is especially helpful for managing frustration or rage. When someone says something that irritates you, for instance, mindfulness enables you to step back and not react or snap back right away. You become aware of your emotional upsurge, but instead of acting on it right away, you decide to watch it passively. It is not only peaceful, but also empowering to be in this space that mindfulness creates. It provides you with the opportunity to select a response that you won't regret. Since mindfulness sounds wonderful in theory, but the real magic happens in practice, let's talk about how to apply it to everyday life. Concentrating on your breathing is one easy method. Take a moment to focus on deep, slow breaths whenever you feel stressed or angry. This concentration helps you return to what you can control, your breathing, by diverting your thoughts from the things that make you feel stressed or angry. What I like to refer to as mindful observation is another useful technique. Select a mundane activity or instance such as sipping coffee. Give this experience your whole attention. Observe the flavor, aroma, and warmth of the cup in your hands. It is possible to elevate an ordinary experience to a richer, more nuanced moment by practicing present moment awareness. The intriguing thing about this is that it teaches your brain to use the same level of awareness in more difficult circumstances. You'll be more capable of handling annoyance or frustration with the same calm and concentration when it occurs. Another lesson from Stoicism is the transience of our experiences. Nothing is permanent, not even our feelings. This is enhanced by mindfulness, which helps for us to freely feel the emotions we are experiencing. Recognize that you're angry and acknowledge it, but also keep in mind that anger is a fleeting emotion. You don't let it control you, and it's not who you are. Acknowledge transience, a universal truth that can make navigating life's ups and downs more graceful and less frustrating, is the notion that nothing is permanent and everything changes. It's about realizing that our situations, feelings, and even our thoughts are in a state of constant flux, and coming to terms with it instead of fighting it. Consider the frequency with which we become irate when events don't go as expected. Perhaps it was an unexpected relationship ending, a job promotion that fell through, or an abrupt change in our health. Our initial response may be to become angry or depressed in response to these changes. Instead, Stoicism encourages us to view these circumstances through the prism of impermanence. We begin to see that even our frustration or rage are fleeting when we really understand that nothing lasts forever. This allows us to view our feelings from a more balanced angle, without lessening their significance. Living more in the present and worrying less about the past and future is made possible by accepting impermanence. Being aware of how fleeting life is makes you value the people and experiences in your life even more. Because you are aware that things can change at any time, you don't take anything for granted. This understanding can be immensely liberating. It lessens the hurt from bad things that happen and increases the happiness from good things. What steps can we take to embrace impermanence in our day-to-day lives? Consider first the fleeting nature of your surroundings and experiences. Consider observing the seasonal changes, the changes in your emotions throughout the day, or the evolution of your relationships over time. Recalling that change is the only constant can be aided by these observations. Modifying your response to interruptions or unforeseen changes is another way to incorporate this into your life. When something doesn't go your way, instead of becoming angry and frustrated, take a moment to recognize that this change is a normal part of life. It's a chance to develop and adjust. Consider an instance where something didn't turn out the way you had hoped, but then something better happened. Often we don't realize the advantages of these changes until much later. Not only does Stoicism urge us to acknowledge impermanence, but it also motivates us to draw strength from it. There is an opportunity to practice flexibility and resilience with every ending and change. Fostering this mindset helps us learn how to not only overcome obstacles in life more skillfully, but also proceed through them in a calm and eager manner, anticipating what comes next. Fifth lesson: recognize the feelings you are experiencing. Greater self-mastery could result from understanding the underlying causes of our emotions, according to the Stoics. Understanding our feelings helps us avoid just acting on instinct or habit, and instead respond to life's challenges in a way that is consistent with our values and objectives. Our perceptions of the world around us are the source of all our emotions, including fear, joy, sadness, and anger. Investigate your feelings if, for instance, someone cuts you off in the middle of a sentence and you feel angry. Does this indicate a deeper insecurity about having your voice heard? Or is it just a matter of feeling disrespected? You can gain insight not only into your own reactions, but also into the underlying values and beliefs by delving deeper into these questions. This knowledge is essential because it allows you to alter your sense of reality and, in turn, your emotional state. The Stoic path teaches us that our feelings are based on our opinions. The ability to review and modify judgments is good news. Thus, when you're experiencing a strong emotion, try to take a step back and consider what you're currently believing. Does this belief hold true? Does it prove useful? Asking questions like these has a lot of power. It gives you the ability to change your viewpoint and select a more beneficial emotional reaction. Anxiety about a work presentation, for example, may stem from the belief that flawless performance is necessary to earn respect. But is this actually the case? It's likely that your co-workers appreciate your effort and genuineness over perfection. When you realize this, you'll be able to deal with the situation more composedly and confidently, and feel less anxious. In actuality, journaling can be a very powerful tool for helping you understand your feelings. Writing down your emotions and investigating the reasons behind them can help you identify patterns and triggers that you might not otherwise be aware of. Not only does introspection help in the here and now, but it also develops a kind of emotional intelligence over time that can help you become more flexible and resilient. Talking about your feelings with a friend, family member, mentor, or someone you can trust is an additional strategy. You may discover fresh viewpoints and insights by discussing your feelings with others. We frequently gain new insights about who we are and the dynamics in our relationships through dialogue. Rejecting your feelings is not the goal of adopting a stoic attitude toward emotions. Conversely, it's about taking an active and thoughtful approach to managing your feelings. Approach. It's about taking charge of the story that lives inside of you. By being aware of your feelings, you can actively influence how you perceive the world, rather than passively reacting to it. Lesson 6. Develop patience. Stoicism teaches us the value of patience as a means of changing our experiences, not just as a way to endure. According to Stoic philosophy, patience is more than just waiting. What matters is how we act in the interim. It's about remaining calm and respectful of ourselves when faced with obstacles and setbacks in life, realizing that these are frequently beyond our control. Numerous situations that we come across in our daily lives can lead to impatience, such as a long line at the grocery store, a traffic bottleneck, or a colleague's slow response. Although it may be our natural tendency to become agitated or anxious, this is when Stoicism becomes useful. This inspires us to view these times as chances to live moral lives. Every situation involving a delay is an opportunity to practice patience and strengthen our ability to remain composed. So, practically speaking, how can we cultivate patience? Changing our expectations is one practical strategy. A common source of our impatience is a discrepancy between our expectations and reality. We can reduce our tendency to become angry when delays and challenges arise by first accepting that they are normal aspects of life. This doesn't mean compromising our values. Rather, it means adjusting our standards to account for the reality that things won't always go as we would like them to. Another important strategy is to make the most of the waiting times by reflecting and growing. You can make the most of your time when you're stuck in traffic, rather than becoming irate about the inconvenience. Take a moment to think back on your day, deep breathe, or listen to an audiobook. This change in viewpoint makes an unpleasant circumstance productive or soothing. Another effective tool for cultivating patience is mindfulness. We can separate ourselves from the restlessness and sense of urgency that frequently accompany waiting by giving the present moment our whole attention. We can resist the nagging feelings of impatience by practicing mindfulness, which aids in the cultivation of a calm mental state. In addition to promoting patience, Stoicism also emphasizes realizing that our current circumstances are transient. We can bear unpleasant circumstances better if we keep in mind that this too shall pass. It is easier to bear situations that are fleeting, such as having to wait for a delayed flight or going through a protracted recovery from an illness. Lastly, cultivating patience requires acknowledging and appreciating little accomplishments. In situations where you would typically become agitated, recognize and treat yourself when you are able to maintain your composure. This encourages the behavior and increases the likelihood that it will stick. Practice forgiving others. The seventh lesson. This is one of those life-altering events that not only modifies our interpersonal relationships, but also has a significant impact on our inner tranquility. In the Stoic sense, forgiveness is not forgetting the harm done or accepting wrongdoings. It's about releasing ourselves from the psychological weight that accompanies holding grudges. Strong self-awareness and emotional regulation are prerequisites for forgiveness, and these are traits that Stoics work to cultivate. It is realizing that although our hurt and rage are understandable and appropriate reactions to perceived injustices, they are ultimately under our control. This does not imply that it is an easy or quick process. It can be difficult to forgive. Often letting go of ingrained feelings of injustice necessitates a conscious, concerted effort. Think about the power you can have when you choose not to let the actions of another person disturb your private peace. Forgiveness in the Stoic sense is essentially this. It involves consciously choosing not to allow your past behavior to negatively impact your current mental state. This choice enables you to recover your emotional energy and direct it toward more worthwhile endeavors that support your values and objectives. How can we begin incorporating forgiveness into our daily lives now? Realizing that we are all fallible, including ourselves, is the first step toward it. All of us occasionally make mistakes due to ignorance and other times to malice. By considering our own shortcomings, we can cultivate empathy for others, which facilitates forgiveness. Keeping an overall perspective is another one of the Stoic practices. Frequently, in the overall context of our existence, the items we cling to hold less significance. We can lessen the immediate sting of grievances by concentrating on our long-term well-being, which is supported by peace and harmony. Reframing our stories is another active aspect of practicing forgiveness. Rather than continuing to feel angry and powerless by seeing yourself as a victim, try to see yourself as a survivor or even a hero of your own story, someone who has faced difficulties and come out stronger. This change in viewpoint not only makes it easier for you to forgive, but also gives you more confidence as you go through life. Exercises involving mindfulness or meditation can also help with the process. These techniques aid in mental relaxation and create the room necessary for more thoughtful, less reactive processing of emotions. Picture the people you believe have wronged you, and allow thoughts of forgiveness to come to mind while you sit quietly and concentrate on your breathing, and envision thinking good thoughts upon them. This is a decision to let go of the wrong's hold on you, not that you accept it. It's crucial to realize that forgiveness is a process, sometimes a drawn-out one. That's okay if it doesn't happen all at once. No matter how small the step, forgiving others is a step toward living a life of greater freedom and emotional balance. The ability to restrain ourselves fundamentally gives us the space to think through whether our immediate reactions are in line with our long-term objectives. Self-control, for example, is what enables you to decide against consuming that late-night junk food if you're attempting to live a healthier lifestyle. Self-control keeps you from reacting harshly or getting angry in emotionally charged situations, protecting your relationships and mental health. How can we improve upon this vital ability? Regularly considering our actions and their effects is a useful Stoic habit. Just spending a few minutes every night reflecting on the decisions you made during the day could accomplish this. Were there times you couldn't control yourself? Why did it happen? The first step in managing these patterns is realizing what they are. Having clear, personal rules for behavior based on your values is another effective tactic. Stoicism tells us that the secret to a good life is to live by reason. Your daily life and well-being will directly improve when you exercise self-control by making and adhering to your own rules. such as not checking your phone during meals or putting a time limit on social media use. An additional extremely useful tool is visualization. When you're about to enter a situation where you know you might be tempted to act impulsively, pause to picture yourself acting coolly and collectedly. Think about how fulfilling it will be to live by your principles. Maintaining your composure in tense situations can be considerably simpler with this mental practice. Gradually raising your threshold for discomfort has additional advantages. This is essentially the essence of self-control. The Stoics held that we can bolster our willpower by willingly putting ourselves through discomfort, whether it be through fasting, cold showers, or restraining our desires. These exercises help us learn that discomfort is often not as terrible as we think it is, and that we can tolerate it. This insight has a direct impact on our capacity to maintain composure in more challenging emotional or social circumstances. Last but not least, keep in mind that developing self-control is a journey rather than a goal. You will make mistakes from time to time. It simply accompanies being human. It matters that you acknowledge these instances, take what you can from them, and carry on with make an effort to get better. Any self-control exercise, no matter how tiny, is a victory in and of itself, and a step toward developing into a more sensible, well-rounded individual. I'm grateful that you could join me at Stoic Journal today. Recall that every step you take to control your emotions is a step toward living a life that is more tranquil. Don't forget to view one of the recommended videos to carry on with your Stoic journey. When we work together, we're changing. We're not just learning.